Well, the Crown has certain obligations pursuant to the Supreme Court of Canada decision in Stinchcombe. And Supreme Court of Canada said an essential part of the right to a fair trial means that you get production of the records that the Crown has in their possession.
That is one of the emails that is totally redacted, so we have no idea right now what is contained in that email, so that's going to be the subject of an application next week.
Defense now is seeking to have both documents with two separate applications be completely unredacted and go from there so that they can continue the cross-examination of the remainder of these PLT officers.
Robert Krajcik reporting for Rebel News here in Ottawa, Ontario. At the Tamara Lich and Chris Barber trial, the 21st day of proceedings just came to a conclusion. Both co-defendants are being charged with a series of crimes related to their roles as organizers with the Freedom Convoy of 2022, a peaceful demonstration against what I refer to as the COVID-19 enterprise. All you folks know what I'm referring to, this series of measures, decrees, edicts, orders, mandates, ostensibly to protect public health in the context of COVID-19. The entire day's proceedings were dedicated to dealings with ongoing disclosure issues regarding internal email communications from the Ottawa Police Service's police liaison teams that have redacted portions that the defense counsels are not able to see, and they want to see them. Before we get into that, I just want to remind you folks that we need your support to continue delivering this on-the-ground, in-the-field reporting that we hope you enjoy and appreciate. To stay up to date with our coverage, please visit tamaratrial.com. The bottom line of the day's proceedings are that the police liaison teams for the Ottawa Police Service, and these are teams of officers who liaise with organizers of different demonstrations. They also deal with special events. Let's say there's a sporting event or some sort of series of diplomats from a foreign country coming in that have a unique security detail. These police liaison teams, these PLTs, they coordinate with stakeholders to ensure public safety and security. And it's relevant to the Freedom Convoy in that they were dealing with Freedom Convoy organizers to maintain public safety as they saw it. Now, what happened? The PLTs have a bunch of emails that they communicate with, obviously, and a bunch of these emails that came to the attention of both defense attorneys had portions that were redacted. And now the two defense attorneys, Diane Magus, who is representing Chris Barber, and Lawrence Greenspan, who is representing Tamara Lich, they want to see what is being hidden from them in these emails via the redactions. And now there is a contest here because the prosecution, the Crown, seeks to preserve those redactions on multiple grounds. We're actually going to speak with a lawyer who will explain to us the premises, the possible justifications that will be provided by the Crown to ensure that those redactions remain redacted.
The defense made a disclosure request to the Crown based on some statements made by Officer Bache. What they're seeking is the instruction that these officers received to update their phones, which precipitated the wiping of their phones. Today, they were provided two documents as part of that disclosure production. The first document was 5 pages of completely redacted, totally black pages that were handed up to Perkins McVeigh. The second document was an email chain that was heavily redacted, but there were some editorializations made by the Crown as to why those portions were redacted. The first document, sorry to jump around, but the first document the Crown is stating is subject to a third-party disclosure request. Okay, so that means that they're saying that this is not in our purview, this is not the fruits of this particular investigation, and we do not have this, we did not have this in our hands. So you need to seek that document from its source. The second document, like I said, is that email chain that is in the Crown's possession. The redacted portions they're citing are redacted for things that include solicitor-client privilege, relevance, and litigation privilege. Defense now is seeking to have both documents with two separate applications be completely unredacted and go from there so that they can continue the cross-examination of the remainder of these PLT officers.
Most of the day's proceedings have actually been sort of outside of the courtroom. What do I mean? In order to resolve this ongoing dispute regarding disclosure, the defense attorneys and the prosecutors were outside of the courtroom speaking about how they can address this, what kind of compromises they can make, how the prosecution and defense attorneys can sort of figure out some arrangement, some compromise to satisfy all parties in the absence of some sort of judge ruling. But now we know that these objections to removal of the redactions from the Crown will now be decided upon by the judge. The prosecution will bring these emails fully revealed to the judge. The judge will see them without the redactions, and she will determine herself whether or not those redactions should remain or be removed and then disclosed to the defense for their use in potential cross-examination.
Come on out November 25th. It's all aboard the Freedom Train in Niagara-on-the-Lake. You can check Rebel News for updates and also the Freedom Passport site.
Tamara Leach, who led the truckers' convoy, will be sharing the stage with some of the finest international recording artists, like the Chops Horns from New York City, who's played with Alicia Keys, Stevie Wonder, the Rolling Stones, and many more. Plus New World Sun, just off a European tour, and the legendary R&B master, Leroy Emanuel. Get on the Freedom Train with Tamara Leach. Saturday, November 25th at Niagara-on-the-Lake Central Community Center, 680 York Road. Get your tickets today at freedompassport.ca. The Freedom Train is coming. Know your rights. Know your freedoms.
There was a witness scheduled to testify today. She was here yesterday. She is a police officer with the Ottawa Police Service. She works with the police liaison team. Her name is Nicole Bache. And she didn't do any testifying today at all because of this outstanding issue. The defense, again, wants to see these emails fully revealed before they decide how they may want to engage in their cross-examination. The judge offered them to do some sort of partial cross-examination if they think they can do so in the absence of those fully revealed emails, but the defense opted against that. They insisted they want to see these emails fully revealed before they proceed with their cross-examination of this witness.
Well, the Crown has certain obligations pursuant to the Supreme Court of Canada decision in Stinchcombe, and Supreme Court of Canada said an essential part of the right to a fair trial means that you get production of the records that the Crown has in their possession. And I anticipate that this is going to be the subject of argument next week when we try and get access to records which clearly relate to the convoy, and were in the possession of the Crown, and in my view should be produced.
These emails we received today were not disclosed to us back at the time they were available. Some of them in 2022, some of them in, I think it was May 2023 or February.
May.
Yeah. So, and that's what I indicated to the court, that they should have been, at least the redacted part, unredacted part should have been disclosed. They have not. And that's something we're going to argue next week too.
Is it unusual for there to be this situation where you're seeking disclosure of information from the Ottawa Police Service, but it's their own legal counsels, Ottawa Police's legal services, that are claiming that that's a privileged communication?
That's a possible ground for non-disclosure, and that's an argument that the lawyer for the Ottawa Police, who is not the Crown, will have to make in response to the application for disclosure.
One of the issues with respect to the phone upgrade, so it was not the phones were wiped, it's the phones were upgraded and the content of the phone was lost. That is one of the emails that is totally redacted, so we have no idea right now what is contained in that email, so that's going to be the subject of an application next week.
We here at Rebel News hope you folks out there in the audience value and appreciate our in-the-field, on-the-ground reporting. To allow us to continue delivering this product to you, we need your financial support to offset our operational costs because we cannot do this for free. To contribute to our journalism, please go to tamaratrial.com and stay up to date with our ongoing reports.